Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is Tannery and we're going to be looking at how SQL works today. Now before moving further on into the video, I have to warn you guys to only use this if you have permission from the website's owner or you're testing this on yourself for educational purposes. Now in front of us we have a login form that uses an email and a password to authenticate us to the website. Now we don't have the email or the password to log in. Maybe we have the email but we don't have the password. So in this situation we can check if this is vulnerable to SQL injection. Now how we're going to do that is most of the time we're just going to enter a comma in here, and the password we can do whatever we want, and we're going to do login. And if the website returns a error in either the request or the main HTML, that means that it is vulnerable to SQL. Now why this works is because we have a SQL query in the background running on the server which says this. Well, most of the time it's like this, but sometimes it has protection, it's more complicated, but this is just a generic SQL query that would run for something like this. So to further grasp how the query works and what it's trying to fetch and how it's fetching all the data, we have to understand how a database works. So here's a simple structure of a database, an SQL database, and the hierarchy. So starting off, we have the users database. So you can have multiple databases, but this is the user database where all the information for the users is stored. So a database is like a home to store all the information for a particular thing or multiple things. And this is the first step in the hierarchy. Then we have the tables. So we have the users table where all the information for the users is going to be stored. So within that table we have an ID column, email column, password column, and creation date column. What these columns do is that they store the main information, and then within these columns we have rows. So those rows actually have the information. So the ID one has like the first row, and the first row has the information for one user, and then the second row has information for another user, and so on and so forth. So here's a better view of what the columns look like along with their rows. So like you saw here, it was the ID, email, password, and creation date, and it's the same thing here. It's the same columns along with their rows. So these are the horizontal ones are the rows, and the vertical ones are the columns. So the user ID is essentially, it's pretty common in all databases, and it's a unique identifier for the rest of the information. And then we have the email, password, and creation date, which is pretty self-explanatory. So moving right back to our SQL query here, I'm gonna try and explain it in the most simple words. So it's saying that select everything. So select, and then this star is a wildcard for everything. So every column from the table users, where the username is equals to whatever we enter here. So if I come here and enter hello, in the backend it's gonna be giving it hello in this field, and the password, if I do 123, it's going to be 123 here. So what we're doing is that we're using the where clause to filter out the results to see if there is a username that says hello, or in our case let's just do admin, and with the password 123. So if there is a match in the database that has the username admin and the password 123, it's going to grant access, and if there isn't a username and password like that, then it's going to say login failed. Now let's actually start injecting our own code and hacking. So what I like to do is write down what I think is the query in the backend and then start experimenting on that. So firstly, we can see that we're inside this input field. So what we can do firstly, with just a bit of common sense, we can put in a comma, which is gonna escape out of that input field. So we had the first comma right here. So these two make up the input field, and we're right in the middle here. We put in one more comma here, and we're out of the input field. So that's the input field, and that's closed off. So let's say we did admin in here, and we closed that off. So that's the complete input field now. But now we have a problem. We have a random comma in here which is going to trigger an error. Now, what we can do to bypass that is we can do a comment. So this in SQL is a comment, and it removes whatever is beyond that and just nulls it out. It just ignores it. So the query from this point on is select every column from the table usernames, from the table users actually, where the username is equals to admin. So if there is a user admin, it's gonna log in as admin. So let's try that. So we can take it from here, and we're gonna input that into here, and we're gonna do any password. We're gonna log in. That doesn't work because there isn't, or we're not sure if there is a username such as admin. We're not sure if there is a admin username in the database. So what we can do is use a or statement. Or, so where there is a username called admin, or 1 equals 1. So obviously 1 is always equals to 1, so it's always going to return true. So we can do that, and we can add a semicolon here to end the query here, and we're going to add a comment. So let's see if that works. And yes, we're in. So how that works is essentially what we did is we were right here in the middle, and we put in the username admin. So what we essentially said to the database is that if there is a admin username, log us in as that, or if 1 equals to 1, which is always true, so we're always going to be logged in. So it's either going to log in as the first person or the first result in the database, or the one with the highest privileges. So now we can see that we successfully logged in as admin here. So admin, and that's the first result inside of the database. So if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more, and you'd like to see more of these simplified videos, then you can drop a like, let me know in the comments, and join our Discord. We have everything there. Peace out. And make sure to keep hacking, keep growing. Peace out.